The first rule of thumb when you're trying to find the best social media platforms for your business is to be where your customers are. I know this sounds kind of generic and it would be pretty cheesy if I just stopped there, but there is an actionable way to find out which social platforms your customers prefer, and I'm going to try to show you how you can do that inside this video. Hey, this is Chia from Brand24, and today I want to talk about how to find the best social media platforms for your business. And by best, I mean social platforms where people are talking about or looking for products and services like the ones that your business offers. So ideally, you would start by tracking online mentions of your brand. Now, tracking your brand mentions and the platforms they're coming from shows you directly which websites your customers like to use. But obviously, tracking online mentions of your brand only works if your business is already somewhat known, at least enough so that people actually talk about it every now and then. So if you're not quite there yet, you can still use this method to find the best social media platforms for your company, except instead of tracking brand mentions, you will want to track online mentions of your product, service, or niche. For example, if you specialize in hiking shoes, you would track online mentions of keywords like hiking shoes, hiking footwear, and hiking boots. Actually, this is something that you definitely want to do even if your business already generates mentions on its own. Tracking relevant mentions apart from your company or brand name is a really good way to discover even more social media sites for your business, which brings us to the second rule of thumb. Make sure your brand is on more than one social media platform. So not everybody likes to consume content the same way. Some people prefer watching videos on YouTube. Some like reading articles or blog posts, and there are those, they just want to listen to podcasts. The same goes for different platforms. While one segment of your audience may prefer Twitter, another might spend more time on YouTube, while your biggest segment may actually end up coming from a forum like Reddit or Quora. And that's why you want to make sure your business is on more than one social media platform. Now, if you create your own content, don't worry. I know that content creation in any form is a super time-consuming process, and I'm not suggesting that you spend all your time trying to create different content for each platform. Instead, you can try repurposing the content you already have. So if you record a good YouTube video, you can strip down the audio and turn it into a podcast episode. Or take that same video, transcribe it, add some images, and turn that into a blog post. These are just some of the basic ways that you can repurpose your content to build social media presence on more than one platform. Now, you can definitely get creative and find other ways to reuse a single piece of content, but that is a topic for another video. So after you've started monitoring your brand mentions or mentions of your product or service, you can analyze the data and find out which social media platforms are the best one for your business. So I use Brand24 for this, so I'll show you what that looks like from there. This is the project that we created earlier, tracking mentions of hiking shoes, hiking footwear, and hiking boots, remember. Now, to find the best social media sites for a business that specializes in hiking footwear, I would go to sources. Since we're interested in the websites that these online mentions are coming from, we can click on pages. Authors will show you the people or influencers who are talking about your hiking shoes in general, which is also really important, but not the topic of this video. Inside the Sources tab, you have a list of all the websites where hiking shoes are mentioned, with the number of mentions from each site and how often the website is visited. So you can filter the data you see based on the number of mentions for each site. In terms of where people talk about hiking shoes, our top 3 social media platforms are, of course, the big 3, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter is a really significant source of these conversations, especially if you compare it to Instagram. Even though both websites have a comparable number of regular visitors, people on Twitter have mentioned hiking shoes roughly 10 times more often than those on Instagram. And you can also monitor specific hiking brands like Merrell or Keen and see where their top sources of mentions are. These websites could also work for your brand. Otherwise, it looks like you want to prioritize the social media presence of your brand on Twitter, especially since a good chunk of those tweets are likely from potential customers asking for advice on which shoes to buy. You can join the conversation by recommending your own brand of hiking shoes, but only if you see people who are really looking for the types of shoes that you offer. Otherwise, you're just going to come off as annoying and get written off as spam. And this is just a really general and quick look at how to find the best social media platforms for your business. Start by tracking your brand mentions or monitor online mentions of your product, service, or niche. And look at the data to find out which websites are the top sources of online mentions for your business. And that is where you need to build social media presence. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to like it, share it, or subscribe to our channel to get a notification when the next video will be ready, which will have even more tips on how to do all things in social media and digital marketing. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something new. I'll see you next time. Bye.